The topic for the moment is future gazing. What's next for the Indian animation industry? In order to moderate this session, may I please call upon stage Ajay Kakar, brand and marketing strategist, on stage, please. Ajay sir, do we have you over here? Hello, sir. He'll be joined on stage by Megha Tata, CEO, Cosmos Maya India Private Limited. An interesting fireside chat. Let's explore the world of animation a little more. The stage is all yours.
Thank you so much. Very happy to be here, and the proof of that is it took me about 1 hour 45 minutes to drive till here and 1 hour 45 minutes back. But I only have 15 minutes with Megha, so how valuable can those 15 minutes be, Megha?
No pressure on me.
So Megha, we are here at a Kids Summit, and we are talking about what's next for the Indian animation industry. For all of you who know that Cosmos Maya is the forefront of animation, not only in India, but across Asia. So what better opportunity to ask you, Megha, that when we're talking about kids and a Kids Summit, you know, when you get exasperated, you say, ye bacche, these bloody kids. So who are these kids that we are targeting or talking about in the context of animation?
Okay, well, thanks so much, Ajay, first of all, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Really happy to be here, and thank you, Siddharth, for inviting me. So, first I'll say that when you say, ye bacche, I would say, ye bacche, you know. So I think for us as a studio or as a category of kids, this is a very interesting target audience we deal with. And I have been on both the sides now, have run a kids network and now producing content for kids. And I think this is one target audience which is the most difficult target audience to please, because they are very fickle-minded. If you don't catch their attention in the first few seconds or maybe a minute max, you lose them. And today, like most of us, whether it's adults or kids, everyone is spoiled for choice. And I think there has been a tectonic shift in the way the content is consumed, even by the kids, before COVID and after COVID. So the overall ecosystem in the way the content is getting consumed by these kids has changed so much that it is very, very difficult to identify, like, what's the sweet spot, what these kids are wanting to watch. And to your question, Ajay, on what are these kids, I think the kids are the same. Kids haven't changed, like consumers haven't changed. What has changed is technology. What has changed is the platform. What has changed is the way the content is getting streamed and in what formats, which is creating the challenge on getting these kids to consume the content people are producing. So kids are the same. They still have those the quintessential kid is defined as a sort of 2 to 14, they say, right? But that is such a wide range.
Yes.
Like all the content creators know, you cannot create content for kids which cuts across 2 to 14.
Sure.
You know, there is a 2 to 4, there is a 5 to 10, and then there's 10 to 14. So that is where I think we are even today as an industry.
And as an animation industry, to attract the kids' attention, who are we, or what are we competing against? Are we competing against the KidZanias, which offer a physical experience, or are we only competing against other content creators within the animation space?
I think we're competing with time. And to me, what I mean by that is that there is still those same 24 hours in a day. That's not going to change. And because the child is got so much choice now, whether it is on television or OTT or social media, they themselves are content creators. So there is so much choice. that is what you're competing with. So I think, I think it's about, and if I can just say that, what everybody probably is thinking is going back to the basics, which is about simplicity of storytelling. Today, what really works across every medium or every category or every genre for that matter, you may have the biggest stars and those films won't work. And you may have an absolutely sort of a famous star cast, but that film will hit the ball out of the park purely based on the story. So I think what even a child is looking for is the ability to relate to that content. Now, for example, we have been in this industry of creating kids content for the last 25, 26 years. We've been in this with the formidable players in the world of animation in India and now setting our steps in the global world as well. But if today the number one show today in the kids country, in the kids category in the country is Motu Patlu. Nick is, I don't know if we have Nick representatives here, and I think they are sponsors as well. But Nick has been the leading number one kids channel. And Motu Patlu had a big role to play in that position they have. And for 10 years, you consistently be the number one kids show. Got to say something, right? Sure. And we're really excited to have partnered with Nick and Viacom, who really became strong partners in building that story. What was Motu Patlu? It was a great story. It was a comic book. Which had some resonance with a certain age group of people. But how do you bring Motu Patlu into today's world, today's kid? Why would I have probably read Motu Patlu as a kid, but why would my kid want to watch Motu Patlu today? Is about how you tell that story, how you create these two characters, and the funny part is, or I would say really gutsy part by Nick was to create a storyline on the back for kids with two adults. First time ever in the history of content creation for kids, there were two adults which were cast in an animation show. It was a big decision, which was taken collectively. And you created this story around them. And for the last 10 years, to be a number one show says something, right? Amazing. So I think it's all about the way you tell the story, which I think works really well with the kids.
And you mentioned comics, so let me ask you the question that animation, in my mind, may be restricted to comics or cartoons. What are the formats that animation takes forth, whether it's gaming or movies or series? What are the formats that animation?
I'm glad you asked this question, Ajay, because I think it's really sad that we think animation is only for kids. Because the world has evolved, animation is a medium, it is not the destination. So the destination could be creating content for adults as well. It could be for men, women, kids, across. And I'm not even getting into the gaming space. I'll come to that in a bit. But I think there is definitely this is a good time for as an industry to create content for adults, as in create animation content for adults. Globally, there's a lot which is happening in there. And we'd love to be able to be part of that journey where you're creating a story or an animation show created out of India, which is targeting to the adult audience as well. So I think there is definitely, we need to get away that animation equals to cartoons.
Right.
It is not anymore. It
Right.
used to be, it is not anymore. It's just about how collectively as an industry, we can come up with an idea which cuts across adults as well, where animation is a medium. So, and yes, of course, gaming is the next big thing. Lots being done in that space. But, that's a very, very different world of audience and target audience you're targeting. It's not necessarily only kids, and a lot of adults are consuming and being part of the gaming world.
So maybe next conference, we should also discuss gaming in greater depth. For now, coming back to the evolving landscape, and you know that it's so fragmented across content and platforms. So what would be your DTK strategy, direct to kids strategy? What would be your recommendation is it possible to earn their attention and win their loyalty?
It's a tough one. Getting their loyalty, I think if I say if for 10 years we've managed to hold on their attention on Motu Patlu, means we are doing something right. So I guess it is also about, like I said, how you tell that story, connecting with the kid with this relatable storytelling is an extremely important part of the proposition. But I think today, like I said, the kids are all looking for, even when I go today and talk to different platforms, a lot of them say, kuch alag chahiye, but same. Now try defining or deciphering that, right? So now if you get a brief like that, I'm like, okay, that's a tough one to crack. Alag chahiye, but
So
same.
we want more Motu Patlus, but we want them hatke.
But one hatke. So how do you create that is the challenge for a lot of us content creators. I think kids want something which is relatable, something they connect with, something which they can take away, is a time for, it's their time, right? You're still, in India, we're still, if it's television we're talking about, we're still talking one TV home households with that remote control still being in the hand of the mom. And so hence, he or she has a limited time. So at that point of time, he or she really wants to watch he's happy with, right? And that is where you need to connect on a story level where he says, yeah, this is funny, I connect with the Motu, I connect with a character like T2, T2 Panti mujhe pasand aati hai. That's me, or having a friend like Bajrangi. I all wanted a friend like Bajrangi. I'd love to have someone like him. So that relatability is where I think is important for a kid.
So kids have limited time, so do we have limited time. So let me try and bring all my questions down to at least one or two, the remaining questions. So what are the brands and platforms actually betting on right now in the space of animation and kids? What do you think is the bet for the future? Where should we be putting our money?
In terms of content creation?
Yes.
Yeah. I think one of the things I think most of the platforms are seeking is, see, today, the market is challenged in multiple ways. Like I said, pre and post-COVID has been a different world. So while the industry is grappling with some of those business challenges, I think kids is one category they're all betting on even today. Because whatever you do, bacche to honge, right? And every 5 to 7 years, the cycle of the content the kids coming in changes, right? So in fact, even when I was running a broadcasting setup, one of the things we always believed in that kids as a category has the best ROI. Because this is one content set of category, the animation especially, which has the highest shelf life. Like the content you've created today will not be sort of stale even 30 years from now. Tom and Jerry being a classic example, right? Even today, you can sit and watch in Tom and Jerry. You can watch it, your kids can watch it, your kids and kids will watch it, right? So the point is that animation is that. It is about it's about the medium. So kids content through animation is the best ROI anybody can get. And that is why most of the platforms are betting on kids content even today. And that's, in my view, going to continue. I think whether we can have new platforms sort of betting on kids, whether it is OTT, is to be seen. I don't think so enough is being done. I think there's definitely an opportunity there. And the social media, especially YouTube as a platform, is like growing out of like crazy. For example, we have, Cosmos has a YouTube platform called Wow Kids. We have about 35 channels on the platform with 97 million subscribers. And this is something probably not many have even heard, right? Now, that is the reach you have for YouTube kids content on YouTube. And whether it is a Choo Choo TV or a Peppa Pig or any of such big brands, they are all driven through YouTube. So I think YouTube is a great platform for people to be able to create content, reach kids and monetize, of course.
So I think I only have time for my last question, and you talked about OTT. The debate on OTT is the monetization of OTT. Will you have ads on it? Won't you have ads on it? So coming back to the monetization of animation, what are the opportunities you see for advertisers, or are there the interruptions in the animation story?
No, absolutely not. I think these kids, advertising is an extremely integral part of the monetization strategy for most of the TV broadcasters, for sure. And so goes on YouTube as well. But I think what has happened in some bits and can happen more is what is known as like AFPs, like advertiser-funded programs or branded solutions, which you bring to the table in the world of animation. There are few examples which have happened, whether people like Nick has done with Motu Patlu, or if, when I was with Discovery Kids, we've done with Little Singham. So I think there's an opportunity of monetization there. But the thing is, see, animation, unlike live action, is a long and an expensive process. It's not that live action is not, but I think when it compares to the timelines involved in creation of animation content versus live action, animation does take that much time.
Right.
It is, on an average, you'll say like an animator can, a good animator will probably give you 5 seconds a day. That means it's a huge output you're getting. Otherwise, you get between 3 to 4 seconds a day. So this is the kind of timelines which are needed to create. Some of the big productions which have happened, they've taken a year or 2 years to be able to do. Pre-production is a lot of work which goes on. So I think we are still far away in that space. We need to have the time, patience, and money to be able to create content which cuts across these platforms as well. But I think, hoping, I'm an eternal optimist and hoping that, it's only going to get bigger and better.
So we need to have time, patience, and money. Unfortunately, right now on stage, time's up. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for having us out here, and my pleasure to have Megha, Cosmos Maya, more important, her perspective on the animation industry in the context of kids. So give it up to Megha. Thank you.
CTO and co-founder IWMBuzz Media Network, to present the memento and the special Mad Over Donuts pack. A lovely session. Thank you so much.